Turn them. Draw a house, please. You're gonna have a reward, prizes. You have 1 minute. Quickly, those who are coming, if you have a piece of paper or pen, please draw a house. And let's assign some points depending on the type of house you guys drew. Okay, I can see you are. How many of you are architects? Because I notice all of you are like pretty, pretty keen to do a very nice house. As time goes fast, I'm going to start with the questions. I'm going to ask you, how many of you made the house with a roof in triangle, two water roofing? You have 2 points each. Good. 2 points. How many of you have made windows to that house? Okay, you have 5 points. Good. How many of you made the the air conditioning area was there? You did. 20 points. How many of you considered the electric plant, the backup system? None? Okay, that was 150 points. The idea of this is basically we ask ourselves some questions. What does facility FM do in a macro company, big company? And I would say that not only in a macro company, but also at home. At home, how do we manage the house, administer it, or like in my case, I just got married, and I have these illusion and dreams of buying a house. I have a new building, considering what it has, what it doesn't have. So you also have to consider how you're going to give maintenance. And we have seen throughout the morning several presentations with regards to area or division is the cover for that facility management, finance, human resources, general services, the bank having a vice president or something, which is the nexus, the connection between the administration of the facilities and the strategy of the new spaces. We go back to a just married person. How are we going to keep maintenance of the house? Who's going to be in charge of that, the man or the woman? Who is going to take care of buying the light bulbs when they burn? To change them, who's going to change them? Who's going to make the roof waterproof? Those are day-to-day issues, but for the company, probably it goes unseen for the company. And of course, how do we add value? From the first presentation from David, we have seen how our role adds value to the function of the decision. So in the end, we are just administrators of basic things: cleaning, safety, security, gardening, electricity, power, water, electricity in our offices, in our homes. It's different. Air conditioning, which is properly kept, which is ran at 100%, fire arresting systems, preventive maintenance, a whole array of things, which in the end we manage the basic, and for that reason the company has an expectation, and that expectation resides on the fact that no one in the company wants to think in no one is thinking in the roof is going to fall, you're going to have any contingency, that power may go off. No, that's not a problem. We all have the same considerations for the organization. Someone has to fix them. Yes, general services, administrative services, and so on. Facility management. So someone has to be in charge of that, but it's not me. Someone needs to fix the floor if there is a hole there, or someone needs to fix the computer. Shall that be the case? Someone needs to do the cleaning. Someone's not cleaning, so someone has to do it, but it's not me. And of course, The history of this is a basement. This is a basic. So we need to have cleaning. It's a basic thing. We need to have good lighting, good water, all those things. Our bathrooms, toilets should be clean, working properly. So nothing should be covered or obstructed. For the organization, this is a basic issue, and it should be so. So we need to assure that the organization thinks in that in those aspects. I want my area 100% functional. I'll talk a little bit more about that with my experience at the airline, but let's think about a company, manufacturing company, where we produce anything. That area is fundamental for me. And the most important for that company is their business. That business is going to lie on a core business. And guess what? That core business has a bearing on a facility. So it is important. From the first David's presentation, he talked about the fact that we do that. The business core could be that many times we don't. They don't believe in us, but it's okay. No one's going to tell us, okay, hey, that's very good. The air conditioning is working. No, they're going to tell you, hey, all this in the air is not working. They're not going to tell you this is working. They're going to tell you this is not working. So we are in a profession with some people would say it's very ungrateful somehow. So we have to be ahead of the problems. We will be prepared and be predictable so that the core business, which a facility receives, may bring the business over. Because to that facility, we need to provide to service maintenance. But who's going to do that? That is important. During lunchtime, a group of us were talking who are going to report to the CEO of the company or CFO. They will report it to human resources or the chief operating officer, or what many young people say, LOL. Whom? Who should we report to? It's not clear. If it's a finance, probably money is going to be a problem. You need to have money for that. But there is something positive there. You have a challenge to look for savings, and in this profession, you always have savings opportunity everywhere. You admit, if it's human resources, probably it's going to be ethereal. So processes are pretty long and so on. And the operations, we have to think in the operations. That's it. So, so this correlates with the acquisition of new spaces. And where is that acquisition of new spaces? In sales. Sales, a purchase, they go and look for the more central power. We're going to have more people. But it so happens the price is the highest. Operations, they want state of the art. So that's the story. They want everything working pristinely, clearly, neatly, greater spaces, wider spaces, so I can move. Perhaps it's not what they need, but they're going to ask for that. Finance, human resources. In the end, I think that I'm going to be talking about my own experience. I've been working for 3 years in COPA AIRLINES, where I manage both divisions, real estate, acquisitions of new spaces, infrastructure projects, and maintenance of all spaces and systems. It's been a good experience because we keep more than 55,000 square meters just in Panama. We have 25 square meters, 25,000 square meters out of Panama. It goes from hangar, from hubs, which work 24/7, and the energy demands is something that you will not imagine. Even the facilities from the headquarters, so we have very simple units to maintain. And my experience is that I work in finance. There is just one division, and it takes care of all the administration of all the facility. The same division sees the new spaces, and something good happens there. When we are designing a new space, when the team reports everything to me, we're all thinking, we are all aligned, how am I going to provide this with service? Where am I going to have the air conditioning? I repeat that a lot because in Panama, those who have had the opportunity to be in my city, they know that the average temperature is 33 degrees Celsius a day. When they talked about in Barranquilla, it was colder inside than outside. It's the same in Panama. Inside, you could be in 20 degrees or 19 degrees because outside you're in 34, and in the summer you could have like 36 or 46. Undoubtedly, these synergies help and save cost. They avoid a lot of headaches. They have you thinking that if you're going to choose a place, it has to have certain characteristics, not only to satisfy the sales, not just to satisfy the operation, not just to satisfy finances so it may be cheaper, but it has to satisfy the needs of maintenance, painting. So we paint a lot in Panama. So we have a lot of finishing, which does not require a lot of painting, but we paint a lot. So it's a city which rains 9 months a year. So all that adds up with the experience of each one of you. And when designing this space from scratch, like the house that you yet began designing, we start adding all those specifics that are going to make your life easier. Projects are conceived to be kept, that's key. We need to, sometimes when they're very old, the buildings are very old, so the buildings are difficult to maintain. But if you provide good maintenance from the beginning, they could last longer, much longer. A good preventive maintenance stretches the life. And if it's conceived that from the beginning, to be properly kept, is not going to last 10 years. It's going to last 20 or 30. We only have one interlocutor with us. We used to talk about services. We are seen as a service area, and when I sit with 5 or 6 vice presidents, as our friends from Ernst & Young friends from Brazil, they have different aims in the spaces, but they're all going to live together. That's complicated. To satisfy all those needs, all those requirements from the customers is very complicated. And if you have too many interlocutors, so it's even harder when it's only one. So at least you could have an orchestra director. In my experience, there is a check and balance between the requirement given by an operational area. I want some workstations from 2 meters length, and what's the corporate work? Why are you asking for such size in the workstation? There you need a check and balance. If this only happens directly to the operation, so you give him the 2 meters workstation, and that's it, but that's not so. On the other hand, when everything is together, in this world in which everything is, we are evaluated per service level, we could be perceived as police officers. So I want a mezzanine here, I want a good, I know it matches here properly. I know that here I could take another electric power outlet or whatever, but they wouldn't allow me. Because what people from facility, they don't allow me to do that. So they say that we sometimes leave aside customer service because we want to have everything organized inside. within the possibilities. We want to have everything organized, policies, as our friends from Ernst& Young and Bancolombia mentioned, Microsoft, to have everything documented. This is the book. So Latins in general, we don't like books in general. So we don't like to follow the standards. This, in a meeting that I had a couple of months with a pretty well-known architect, Luis Vidal, he talked about Jaque. Now that we are making this, let's do that. And it becomes inconceivable the now that's that we are thinking of. So in the end, we are just the same organization, and that's important to be clarified. To clarify this to the customer, because we are not their personal contractor. We are part of the whole strategy. The real estate strategy is a very ethereal title, but what I could tell you, most of corporate objectives in organization are made and set forth and achieved within a facility. And to do that, we have to leave the design and the process, the planning. And in ideal world of a new space that we're building, the planning is key. Planning is key from the operational standpoint of sales, maintenance of the facility, on what are we going to do so we could have get things done. So the house you drew. So if you don't plan to have air conditioning, so you're not going to have space to install those machines. So you need to do a nice planning, because if you don't plan that in your area, the power would go off often. So you need a power plant there. So planning is key. In an ideal world of the new space planning and design, there needs to be a real commitment between the organization to which you are creating a new space and you yourselves. The idea is that both facility management is the core as well as the real estate part. They need to work. They need to work aligned, and they are not. They need to be involved. Get close one to other, to that project manager. So and tell them, listen, I need a room for cleaning. They forget about that. I need a room to install a small room to have all my light bulbs and things that I need to change on a regular basis. Get close to that person, approach him or her. In the end, we work in spaces for 3 square meters, which are very small, or 10,000 square meters. We need to be clear on how many customers we are affecting internally, and take the time to think, analyze, and plan those spaces. Plan, of course, the maintenance. It goes hand in hand, and in the end, the organization is not going to tell us, okay, listen, today we have electric power, so this is going to be good. No, they're going to say, okay, that's a good job you're doing. There is no interruption in the service. We need to keep it up always, and the organization should know this. We need to keep the facilities where the core business is and where the most of corporate objectives are met. That's what I wanted to say.